Hey, we are back in the studio. We are recording some more episodes to educate you on the coming disruption of AI. In this episode, we're going to talk about deep fakes, as one of the chapters in the book is about deep fake. So, what is a deep fake?
It is an AI rendered either image or video or voice that is fake. And like I make a deep fake of you, and it's you robbing a bank, right? Or you in a compromising position, like you're with another man, right? It's like it looks like a snapshot at a restaurant, and it's not really you. You were never there, and none of that ever happened. But they are absolutely. The term deep is because AI is generating it. But it is just that, it's fake, right? And this is pretty dangerous. Both from someone is going to make one that is going to cause someone to react in a really egregious manner, right? Whether someone gets shot or they kill somebody because they thought this is what was really happening, or you get arrested and go to jail for something that never happened, right? Because someone wanted revenge and they decided to use that to make it be you doing that thing, right? Even down to a fake of a country leader doing something and it claps off a war because the other country believed it; they thought it was real. Like this is very concerning. The deep fake space.
So, how are we going to be able to tell online what's real and what's not?
You're not. I mean, they even are finding ways where when it's rendered, it doesn't. You can't examine it or look at it and not know that it was AI created. Like it matches like a real video recording, or it matches a real camera that took that picture, right? So it is concerning, right? There's talk of like making sure all AI, when it generates something, it has like an invisible watermark that you can find, or it can be discovered, something hidden in the pixels or within the binary data for that file that you can, okay, this was AI created. But there are open source models that you can run on a home computer and have it do some of these things, and that won't be there, right? If it's open source, you can go look at the code and remove that functionality or feature if it's in there. So I don't know. I mean, no one hasn't, I haven't seen any real meaningful responses to how do you combat this. Usually they're going to try to do it by law, like legislation says, if you create this, there's severe consequences, and hopefully that'll keep people from doing it.
Yeah, I think that we're probably going to see a lot of litigation in the future when it comes to AI,
I would agree.
because we've talked about this, it being it's the Wild West right now,
Yep.
right? But then, we need rules and guardrails, so that we can protect ourselves and society as a whole. And
Yeah.
so, it's getting harder for people to know. I think that one of the stats is 60 to 80% of what is being put out is AI generated. And so, what are the unintended consequences of that?
I mean, I touched on it a minute ago, whether it's war with another country or prison for people who shouldn't go, or careers being ruined, or a lot of the use of deepfakes right now is just flaunting existing rules. Like it's not okay to blackmail somebody. There are pictures that the women are having, pornographic pictures made with them, but it was not them, and they never did it. And then they're trying to be blackmailed. I'm saying, I'm going to release this if you don't pay me, and they pay anyway because they just don't want that out there, even though it's not true. But good luck proving that, right? Like, oh, okay, you didn't do that, but you did. You can ruin somebody's life, or using fake recordings. That the one that going around where a parent or somebody gets a call saying we were in an accident, and the driver's not going to help me if I don't give him $500 or whatever. I need you to send it gift card or whatever mechanism they're choosing, and that's an AI voice. That's a deepfake voice, right? I had a client that I convinced them to take all voicemail off and use the system voice, not custom voice, because their executive, someone that recorded his voice and then tried to get his assistant to get a bunch of gift cards for a client, and it was him talking, but he was gone. He was out of the country. It wasn't him, but it was an AI. It was an AI voice, and that she was like, it was him completely.
And the AI voice is getting so good.
Oh, I mean, they'll
With
ingest
laugh and have intonation and
breaths
yeah.
and ums, all the things that a normal human is going to say, and have that kind of tick and and it does all of that, right? And it can sound very scared, and it could sound angry, and all those things are very well mimicked now. I mean, now, and they're integrating it with video. There was an executive that was taken for $300,000 by a video like a Zoom call with, but he thought was the CEO, and it was not real. It was AI generated image of him with his voice through that call.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the scary part. So these deep fakes are going to be a real problem. Anytime you have a technology like this, any revolutionary technology, the bad guys try to leverage it first. I mean, they're the most creative, right? They come up with like all the crazy ways to use it, and that's what they're doing, right? The North Koreans are using the deep fakes to get companies to hire remote programmers who they think are Indian or South American, and then they're all North Koreans. So they never, and the whole interview process and everything. And it's a real person. They turn in their driver's license and their paperwork and their passport, and it's the picture, and then the interview matches. But it's not them. It's not them. It's a deep fake, and then they get the job, and now they're going to, either steal state or country secrets, company secrets, or do crypto stealing, right? Crypto mining against them. So it is a problem, and we're very much lagging in the law department and trying to catch them, because if it's hard enough for the people who are doing this, building these systems to keep up with everything that's going on, you imagine law enforcement having to catch up and figure this out? Like, they are some smart people in law enforcement, really, really bright folks. But unless that's your job, is a deep fake researcher, right? And that's
Maybe that's a new job.
That's a new department.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're doing your every other day job, right? As if you're just investigating theft or, forgery or whatever, having to learn that you definitely having to upskill to figure this out, right? That's very complicated. And it's unfair to pile that on them on top of everything else, because this is really moving fast.
But I think that's a good segue into opportunity, because I think there are opportunities that are going to come. I don't want people to think it's all doom and gloom, and that's what we think. We're trying to paint a realistic picture of the amazing things that AI can do, but also some cautionary tales about things that we need to look out for.
Yeah, there's two sides to this coin, right? One of them dark, but the other side is very bright and shiny and pretty neat. The amount of things that it can help do and improve, right?
Well, one of the things I was just now thinking about is we had a friend reach out to us recently, who their son was a coder, and he's been developing some games and different things, and they bought our book and was asking, like, should I send him to college to get a degree in cybersecurity, or what advice should I give him? And I said, no, like, don't waste semesters in school when you have the world at your fingertips, right? And whether it's through a course like courseware on Coursera, in the back of the book, one of the things that people really like is the action plan. Like, if you want to know how to upskill, here's a plan for you to start learning AI, to start learning some of these things.
Yeah.
But if you were going to sit down with a young person today, because I think that's who's going to be most affected by AI, it's already hard for young people when they get out of college because they have no experience. And if nobody gives them experience, how do they get the experience?
Right.
That's a double-edged sword too. And when entry-level jobs are being replaced by AI, what advice do we give young people?
Yeah. How do you become a 3-year, a third year, a 3-year programmer when you can't get the first year, at all out of the way, right? Say the question again.
Well, what do we tell young people? Like, because they're the ones who are going to be impacted by AI.
Severely impacted by it.
Yeah.
For the either in starting school or in school or just coming out of school. If you're about to go to a university, I would really look hard at what you're going to study and be. If you want to be a doctor, go for it, right? You're going to 15 years later. I don't know. I mean, they had a robot that could operate on a grape, and it was able to peel the skin off the grape without harming the flesh underneath, right? And it did it perfectly, and it did it like 50 times in a row the same way. So, I mean, surgeons we would think would be insecure, and people maybe always want a human to operate on them, but that's coming, right? So whatever your career is, I would closely examine it and do some research on how AI is going to impact it theoretically and see if maybe you would shift what that is. But I definitely would be using, so like consumable things. We talk a lot about like, if you are an entrepreneur and you want to start a small business or maybe like a franchise, something like that. Those are going to be, I mean, that's a different track. It's not an everybody track, but that's pretty insulated, because if you are going to do a franchisee and you're picking it, if that franchise is going to use AI, you're just going to benefit from it but you're going to get yourself a franchise, or you want to open a laundromat. I don't see robot laundromats happening. And then people are, apartment people don't have a place to do that. Then that's a great thing. But that's not for everybody. A lot of people just need a just a job, right? They've got to be able to pay their bills and keep the lights on. Finding a way that you can leverage AI to be an improvement for what that company is would be really, I mean, it's like I just went and built an app, recreated an app for a client just to show them something as a use case. But find a company that you like or want to work at, or an industry that you want to be in, and see how you can leverage AI and do something with it, and then show it to them.
I think the best thing that we can teach young people to do is to solve a problem, right?
Always, yeah.
To solve a problem, because people will buy if they have a need, if there is a felt need.
Solution.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important.
And so, there's a lot of ways that you can use AI to brainstorm ideas.
It is very helpful like that.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you can use AI to help you pick the right career. Like, you literally could have it work for you and help you and train you up. You can have it build courseware for you and pull all the information that's available out there. There's a lot of information already. We have everything you need to know about almost any job on earth is out there on the internet already. Consolidating that into a meaningful project or course or training or learning session, not always easy, but you can use AI to bring that together for you. It's really good at building. Say, I want to, in the next 45 days, I want to learn this skill. Develop the training for me. I want it to be interactive. I want to have, tests, and it'll build all that for you.
Yeah, you just built something like that, and it was really, really cool. It was very interactive.
Yeah.
And you could like pick the side over here to match it with the stuff.
A matching game. I had flip cards. And it had like, just questions, like A, B, C, D kind of questions. And it's really saying it built this beautiful interface, right? I built it for my clients to use, for the executive suite to see how ready they are to use AI. So they have to answer questions and terminology, and it'll say, look, as an organization, you're probably not ready. Or it's like, yeah, you score pretty high. You're probably ready to start some adoption. Because not every company is prepared for this and set up for it. Matter of fact, I just read it in the back of the book again, where we say, by the time you read this book, it's out of date. Like, it's going to be out of date, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean the information is irrelevant. It just means we are moving at such a pace that a lot of the things we talk about in here, like I think we talked about Chat GPT 4 and 5 is out, right? So I mean, it's that kind of movement. It's expected. It's a progression. But the concepts of learn a skill, train yourself, have AI train you and help you, right? Because it can be really good at that, and have it help you look for what that job should be. If you're young and you're in high school, and a lot of these want to be programmed, a lot of them want to be programmed. They told everybody, be a programmer, and and they've done really well for the last 15, 20 years. That's changing though. But if you learn to code with that, and do that kind of orchestration with AI and have real meaningful work being done in a company, then you could be extremely valuable. They're not going to care anymore that you have a 4-year computer science degree and that you interned at Intel or Microsoft, and then you became a programmer or a product designer or a product manager or a project manager. Like they're not caring, man. They're hiring people who are 16 years old. Because they're really, really strong in the particular piece of that field. There's some company that just hired, he's like 16, he's making like $1 million a year because he's really good at AI. And so it doesn't matter, right?
So I have another friend who reached out to me, and she's like, my son is really, really smart, and like the school is not, it's not teaching him enough. What should I do? And so I sent her several courses that were put out by like Anthropic, and they all have, even courses that they've created to help you. And I said, have him start learning these. If this is what he's interested in, then start pushing him in this direction now to use it, to learn about it, so that by the time he graduates from high school, because I think he's like in middle school. I mean, he's young, but also, you've got to have some safeguards as a parent when you're opening that. We've talked about that as well.
Yeah.
But that was my advice. Would you offer anything else?
No, I mean, if you're a parent, well, you know what your kid's good at, right? And if you can see there's a proclivity for a particular area and a drive, a like that they want to do it, man, you can push them far and hard. Man, AI will help them tremendously, whether it's just content aggregation or the ability to produce training and really drive home those skills that are going to be extremely valuable. Like they could get a job in high school. All of a sudden they're 17 and their AI skill set and ability is high. They can get a job making a really lot of money. I mean, understanding how to build AI itself, those people are making a ridiculous amount of money, and they're super high demand. The demand is going to shift a little bit. I mean, you saw that Mark Zuckerberg offered one of the AI engineers like $1 billion. Said, leave and come work for me. The guy said no. He must have a heck equity. I don't know, but that's a pretty big payday. I mean, it's not even real. It's not even real. Like someone offers $1 billion salary to just an AI engineer. Like it's crazy. So the people who build AI, that's really hot, and that's not going to change for a while. And new ways and concepts of doing AI. But in everyday jobs, find something you like about it, or how you can. AI can help you enhance what you're doing, and you become more valuable, and you become more efficient and more accurate. Because it's the human side still exists, right? And it's still a factor when looking at job automation, and it's still being considered. I mean, I hear these companies talking about it, like, well, we can't just get rid of them. Like, we got to repurpose them or put them somewhere else, right? They're still saying they're a human being, so that's okay for now. That's still there. So making yourself more viable in the enterprise, or making yourself more valuable to the enterprise, that's where that's going to go.
Yeah, one of the things that we talked about in the book was, people may be technical, but they lack the soft side of things. And I think that soft side of things is going to be even more important. That emotional intelligence, being able to read the room, being able to present yourself well, to be well written, well spoken, all of those things. I think just having relationships. I think that is going to be important. So somebody was talking about going to the physical therapist, and they're like, I can't imagine a physical therapist as a robot, because part of the
There is one.
therapy
There is one.
is, I'm sure there is, but
Yeah.
part of the therapy is actually that human interaction.
Right. Encouragement and talking to you and be like, you're
Yeah.
going to get this. This is great. You're making progress. And, you don't want to hear a robot say that to you. Like, you're doing well, Mrs. But actually, their voices are so good now, you're not going to be able to tell. But, yeah, that's a really, so I was talking to a colleague, and you're talking about being well written. So they were trying to hire someone, and they went through the interview process, and they had an amazing resume, and they wrote a letter, and it was just so articulate and really nice. And then the last step is the in-person. And the person was just horrible, stuttery, was nervous, like it just all collapsed. They were horrible in person, right? They didn't write the letter. It was AI. You put it through an AI checker. AI wrote the letter, right? The resume was written by AI. It was very nice, but it was written by AI. Job history was real, but that human piece, the human part, they fell down. Like they had no presence. They couldn't, it was for the level of position that they were hiring for. This was a crucial capabilities, crucial skills, right? So it didn't matter how technically smart this person was and how much experience they had, they couldn't execute on the human side of it, which is kind of to your point, right? That's still very important. It's still necessary, and companies still need that.
And that may mean what upskilling is for those people,
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because if they don't have the presentation skills or the ability to connect with people,
It's important.
and to build consensus on teams and all of those kinds of things, when AI is not going to give you a problem about whatever thing,
Right.
it can quietly do the task and the job without the human interaction. But those human interactions are important, right?
Yeah, like the challenge part. You can tell if you put a prompt into AI, you can say, I want you to be adversarial. Like, I'm going to throw an idea at you and I want you to be adversarial about it. But humans do that naturally. Like if you're in a meeting and you're pinging around something you want a feature, an improvement, something you're selling, whatever it is, there's always going to be some kind of, not like in an aggressively negative way, but it's adversarial, right? It's like, well, I don't think we should go that way. I think we should do it like this. And they're like, no, and then you end up hammering out the right answer and the right idea. That interaction is really important and only happens at a human level. You can tell AI to fake it, but it's not really being that way. It's just playing a role that you've assigned it. And I've used that several times, but it's not the same. And you're not going to get that. There's a little bit of a spark that humans have that AI doesn't have, at least not yet, but it doesn't have it. So yeah, you're right. That's very important. And that's a really good point that I don't think we put it in here about upskill for you may look like the emotional side, the emotional intelligence side.
Yeah, we did put it in there. That was part of what I wrote. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Because I think that's really important. When I was raising our boys, I was afraid to public speak. You may not know that now by looking at me, but it frightened me. And the first time,
It frightens everybody. That's like the number one fear.
It is. And so I didn't want our kids to have that fear. So I put them in speech and debate so that they could learn to present. But I remember the first time I went to a speaking engagement, you were like, if you don't get this under control, I'm never going to let you speak again.
Yeah, you were.
Because I was
a
a disaster.
Yeah.
But then I got training to help me be a better presenter. And so sometimes that's the thing that we need to upskill is maybe our presentation skills or our speaking skills, or like you said, if you're using AI to write, but you can't write yourself, like there might be a little discrepancy there.
Yeah. Well, you're going to get called out on it eventually, right?
Yeah. Well, I think that we've gone from the scary to the opportunity, and kind of everything in between in this episode. So I hope y'all have enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, do all the things, grab a copy of the book, share it with a friend. And thanks for joining us again today.